Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Parys and I'm 27 and I'm a mom of a little toddler, and I like to read while my toddler is sleeping. Today's video is a little bit fun for me because I am a big mood reader. But after just finishing one of my favorite series, I am having a hard time bringing myself to read something new. I decided, because of that, and also I have library books that need to be returned, I'm just going to leave my reads for the next week up to my friends. I am hoping to do a video like this with my husband and have him pick out my books, which makes me nervous, but that's the point and that's the fun in it. So the first friend that I asked is my friend Carissa. I asked her to pick between two very different books. First, we have The Vanishing Half. I've had this book from the library for a little bit too long. Every time I went to read it, I ended up reading something else. Then I also sent her Before We Were Strangers by Renee, Carlino. This is a second chance romance, and clearly I have been loving second chance romance. I really love Love in Other Words. I clearly love Magnolia Parks. I don't want to know anything else about this book, so all I know is it's a second chance romance, and I believe friends to lovers or something like that. So I asked her to pick between the both of these. Just like I assumed, she picked The Vanishing Half. We're gonna go into The Vanishing Half and I will let you guys know my thoughts as I get through it. Don't mind how I'm looking. I just got out of the shower, obviously. I figured I'd film this really quick while my husband and daughter are out because they're noisy people. But anyway, so I want to give you guys an update. I am only on page 28. After one whole day, I fell asleep. Whatever, like that happens. And then last night, while I was reading, literally one page in and I was falling asleep sitting up. For some reason, this book's just making me tired, or maybe I'm just tired. I'm not used to the writing. At least that's what I think it is. I'm not used to the writing. Like, I'm not gonna let that determine how the rest of the book is gonna be, because I genuinely believe that this book is a good book just based off the things I've heard about it, or at least the topics are good topics. I wanted to talk about, just clarify what the book is about based off what I've read just like in the first few pages. So there's this town called Mallard, and it was basically like founded by this guy who was born from a slave owner and a slave. He has this town and basically they just keep procreating, and everyone's basically light skinned. Apparently the town just seems to get lighter and lighter to the point that you can mistake these people as white people. There are these two girls from this town. They are twins, they're identical twins, and they basically run away at like 16. I guess a few years after running away, they split up and they're living different lives. So one of them, she ends up marrying a black man and she has a black daughter. The other one, she passes as white. So she's living as a white woman and she's married to a white man. And her husband apparently doesn't know anything about her past life. So because I am having a hard time reading it, at least physically, I decided what I'm gonna do to make it easier on me is read it on my Kindle. Naturally, you just read faster on a Kindle. Hopefully the next time I update you guys, I'm further in this book. Hi friends, I am back with an update regarding The Vanishing Half. I did tell you guys, I believe in my last update, that I was gonna start reading this book on my Kindle, and it was so much easier. I was getting through the book a lot faster. I'm at 79%. I got to the point where I'm skimming through the book and just trying to get to the point of the end of this book. I honestly had a great time reading about Stella, the twin who was pretending to be white and living her life that way. I was really interested in that, but I also did like learning about the other twin, Desiree, and you know what her daughter was experiencing as a child when they moved back to their hometown. Desiree's daughter is a dark-skinned black girl, and she brought her to a town full of very light people, and this town is full of colorism. It was really insightful. It was really interesting to think about the way things used to be and are in a lot of places still. It just started to feel like we trailed off into different things. 2 days ago, I literally went on Goodreads searching for a review of someone that had like one that said this contains spoilers. It's simply just the writing for me. I just finished it. It is now 12:24. Like, I'm really sorry because I know a lot of people like this book, and I think there were parts of this book that I did really like. I feel like there were certain things that could have been touched on a lot more. I just feel like it was bouncing around all over the place. I really don't like the way that it ended. I feel like the twins' lives were way more interesting than the daughters. I thought they were going to be the main focus of the book, whereas it seemed like the daughters, or especially Desiree's daughter, she seemed like she was like the biggest part of the book. Okay guys, so I asked my friend Emily to pick my next read. She really likes thrillers, so I wanted to ask her to pick a thriller for me. I have not read a thriller in a while. The last thriller that I read was The Parys Apartment by Lucy Foley. I read that at the end of March, and I feel like it's time. I asked Emily to pick between The Guest List by Lucy Foley and His and Hers by Alice Feeney. I have never read a book from Alice Feeney, but I really do want to read one of her books because I've heard that these books, you feel like you know the answer, you feel like you know what's gonna happen, but apparently she just always gets you. For the second one, we have Lucy Foley, The Guest List. Like I said, the last thriller that I read was Lucy Foley. I have heard that this one is so much better than The Parys Apartment. One thing I really loved about Lucy Foley's writing is that it's very easy, and if I remember correctly, the chapters were very, very short. So I asked her, please pick one for me to read. I'm asking friends to pick my books this week for my video, and I decided to ask you to pick between these thrillers. And she said The Guest List. She said she thinks that's on her TBR, so I guess that's what we'll be reading. I do really like this style of movie, so I feel like for a book I will really like it. So if you didn't know, this is basically a book about a wedding that's on a remote island. I believe someone ends up dying. I have watched a few movies like this, especially recently. If you don't know Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, they have a movie that sounds literally like this. So I think I will enjoy this book, and I will let you guys know. To give you guys an update. It's been a few days, like maybe 3 days now since I started the book, so I had to put on my glasses. Anyway, so basically this book is about a wedding. So this wedding is happening on an island off the coast of Ireland or something like that, and the book goes through 5 different perspectives. The bride, we get the bride's sister, who is a bridesmaid, the best man, a +1, and then we also get the wedding planner as well. Once we got to like the 50% mark, I started to enjoy it a lot more than at the beginning. At the beginning it was good, like you're just kind of learning about each person and their suspicions of just people in this island, and oh my gosh, the little things that have been exposed, not even little, like these are big things, but like the things that are being exposed during this wedding are so crazy. I don't even know who has been killed, but I think I do know, and I feel like I've known for a little bit. I just don't know who did it, if this is actually the person. I'm on page 275 and there are 313 pages, so I'm very close to the end. I know I'm gonna finish it tonight. So yeah, so far I am enjoying this book. I just finished The Guest List. I actually really enjoyed that book. I think I might rate this book like a 4. Honestly, I couldn't put it down. Like I said, around the 50% mark, I really was eating up that book. You definitely want to look up trigger warnings if you plan on reading this book, if you're someone who is sensitive to certain things. There's definitely some bullying, there's also drug use, and definitely some other like heavier things discussed in this book. I wish I would write which page I started to guess certain things so that I can remember around what point did I guess these things, but I did guess one person's motive being a possibility. The story didn't get there yet, but I kind of put 2 and 2 together. The part that made it enjoyable was the fact that it made me feel like I was watching a movie. I will see you guys tomorrow when we pick our next book. Or we're not gonna pick it, when the next book is picked. It is a couple days later, so I asked my friend Amanda to pick my next read, and I really wanted to read a romance because I haven't read a romance in almost 2 weeks now, so I really wanted to get into one, see if there's another one out there that I love. I do know that one of these books is not technically supposed to be considered a romance, it's more of a literary fiction with a subplot of romance, but The book does have certain tropes and aspects to it that are very similar to a romance, so that's why I put it in this category. Before We Were Strangers and Happy Place. Before you say anything, I do know that Before We Were Strangers was one of the options for my first pick, but I decided to give it another chance and see if it gets picked because it is a book that is really high up on my TBR for this month, and it's a book that I really want to read. Happy Place is the book I was talking about earlier that is more of a literary fiction. So I sent her those two and she said Before We Were Strangers. I am filming this clip after the fact, so I already did start reading the book that was picked. I'm on chapter 17, which is page 168, so I am really speeding through it. This is one of those dual timelines, so we are visiting past and present. It is also dual POV, so we are getting Matt's point of view and Grace's point of view, and those are our two main characters. They met during their time at NYU. They just got along really well and had a really great connection. At the very beginning of the book, it does give you a little bit of a moment when they bump into each other, so now we're learning about their backstory. This book is broken up into 3 parts. In the 3rd part, we'll be going back to present day. It is now 10 p.m. Okay, it's time to finish this. So I'm obviously going to be watching the ball game while I'm reading this. I'm on page 240. Talk about plot twist right now. I had the tiniest inkling about it way back, like, and now I just finished the book. Decided to come and sit down here just to give you guys a little bit of a new angle. Romance novels, sometimes you feel like you don't get closure from the couple. This kind of just wrapped the entire story together so well. I can't even tell you guys the last 2 sentences in this book because it will spoil the entire thing. Just know, if you ever read this book, the last 2 sentences really got me, man. They really did. I really loved this book. Obviously, the whole miscommunication and the reason that they weren't talking for 15 years, it's annoying, like, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't in a way that frustrated me a lot. There are a few other second chance romances that they don't talk for 10-15 years or whatever, and it's like a really stupid reason that could have easily been figured out with just a simple conversation. But I find with this one, based off the time period when they were younger and all the other factors, it wasn't the type of miscommunication that upset me. Obviously there were ways around it. I think I would give this a 4.5. So this was actually still like a really successful video. Did get 2 really good reads out of 3. I think I should get my daughter to pick a book for me. I think that might be fun. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.